Some canines are big enough to take you off the registry. Once dogs hit that 140 to 150 pound range, they go from a loud inconvenience to something whose free will could potentially put you in a
what is that? All right, we got a casual geographic video. This is dogs that will send you to DOG backwards. If he saw this trend, I'm pretty sure he saw the gorilla trend. So I think a gorilla video is coming soon because this came right before 100 gorillas. I mean, 100 versus one gorilla. So I think the 100 men versus a gorilla thing is coming. But let's get into it. And so shout out to Yo-Yo. He said he's never let a dog kill him.
I am not losing to no dog.
I love that for you, twin, but this dog look right here looks like it's putting you in a blender. I'm sorry. Like a regular dog, a German Shepherd, you might got that. This you don't got.
These are the dogs that would take the leash off and walk.
I don't think Yo-Yo would lose to a pit bull. He's a big dude, but this motherfucker right here that has this full length, big link chain looking like a like little on his throat is crazy.
Fuck you, because a lot of y'all have gotten way too confident. I've said it before, but one way to see how a guy's mind works is to ask him, what's the biggest animal you could beat in a fight? And if you want to see how highly he thinks of himself, ask him, what's the biggest dog he could take down? Or if there's even one.
You know what's crazy? I think he's going to bring up the fact that most men over-exaggerate their power by 400%.
Live that he couldn't. TikTok has taught me a majority of y'all are KOing anything canine. Allegedly. Now in their defense, there's over 350 breeds of dogs and the average man is bodying most of them. Dogs are built for friendship, some quite literally, and they're descended from a pack hunter who really isn't about the one-on-ones. Plus, dogs have one real way of delivering damage, and unless they have the size to make up for it, most dogs can't go band for band with the average man. The thing about size.
Hey, oh no, big.
Some canines are big enough to take.
Yo, you're cooked, brother. This motherfucker right here, you're done. Like, this is a fucking unit, my nigga.
You off the registry. Once dogs hit that 140 to 150 pound range, they go from a loud inconvenience to something whose free will could potentially put you in a
what is that?
Range. They go from a loud inconvenience to something whose free
what is that?
will could potentially put you.
Look at, bro, that's a grown ass man fighting to hold this bitch back right now.
In a dirt motel. Bigger than that, and you got the kind of dog where every breath you take is by his blessing. Real quick, this isn't to demonize any breed or inspire you to test your luck against your dog. And also, don't take this too seriously. I know Fantasy Fight Club.
Disclaimer, finding and licensing the right videos was a bit of a struggle, so some of the videos may not match the breed being discussed. My bad if that's the case.
Loves hills to die on. But first we got
Respect.
The Kane Shepherd is a Turkish Fido flex bred as a livestock guardian dog against jackals, wolves, and bears. Males on average get from 110 to 150 pounds, but ask around. Someone will tell you about their 180 pound attitude adjustment. An important distinction is that these aren't herding dogs, they're guarding dogs. The canine insurance policy pretty much are part of the herd, and any predators that flock around very quickly find out. Kangles will defend theirs in any situation, and while the cellmate or Cerberus prefers intimidation, they'll catch a clean body if it gets there. The catch is, since Kangles are built to defend the defenseless, they're unironically really good with children. But with a temper more trigger-happy than the state of Texas, nothing steps to a member of a Kangles herd without getting read in an obituary. Apparently, some Kangles have snapped at their owners for getting too close to their own sheep, with Kangles having the strongest bite of any dog at an alleged 743 pounds per square inch. The
strongest bite? Yeah, you're cooked, brother.
A snap from a helicoptering horsehound hits much different. They're so protective, they even protect some of the predators they were hired against. In Namibia, ranchers and cheetahs share an area code, and in a world where a dead cow can set your entire family back, many cheetahs become chalk outlines in the name of asset protection. But having Kangles and Anatolians on site, which as far as I understand are Americanized Kangles, the cheetahs get run off by canine conflict resolution before the ranchers have to reach for a permanent solution. The Kangle option actually reduced cheetah trappings and killings by 80%, and in some places they're providing the same deterrent service to wolves. So all in all, they're still a good dog, just not for everyone. And not just because they need space, experience, and most importantly a purpose, they need discipline, because gentle parenting means Turkish Tank rips your arm out of the socket the first time he sees a squirrel.
Oh, Jesus.
This fluffy boulder would send you back to the mountains they spawned from. Forged in the mountains of Caucasus, the Caucasian Shepherd is also called the Russian Bear Dog, even though they're not Russian, and you're liable for a lecture if you call them that in front of the wrong person. They also weren't bred to hunt bears, they're also livestock life insurance. It's just that calorie blocking a bear might just come with a job description. The blow-dry Tasmanian Devil comes in two forms, the longer coated mountain type and the shorter coated steppe version. The mountain brand are the big boys, and usually the ones
that is a grown ass man. Look at the fucking size comparison. Grown ass man. You can tell by the size of his, bro. He's puppy. I can't help y'all. Y'all can't be saved.
Can get to over 200 pounds. And I promise you, you are not choking out a Wolverine on creatine with war experience. The dog, also called the ovcharka, was used in World War II as Soviet Union guards that would gatekeep Soviet gulags. So they might not send you there, but they'll keep you in its custody. So even though they didn't originate in Russia, before the Soviet Union developed an atomic bomb, they mobilized a furry nuke in the form of Fido. Also, a good amount would patrol the Berlin Wall, and after the wall came down and the dogs were adopted out, many of the veterans would suddenly remember their orders whenever near the past tense wall and would robotically walk in obedience to a wall that wasn't there. So yeah, folks messed around and created an absolute unit of a sleeper agent, and it isn't until you have about 200 pounds of dog resisting your will that you realize what the unit of a sleeper agent, and it isn't until you have about 200
Nah, absolutely not. Listen, I'm not trying my luck, brother. I don't want to.
Pounds of dog resisting your will that you realize what the amounts of
look, he knew what was up. He like, nah, I'm good. You got it. He didn't even want to. You got it, twin. Yeah, nah, you right. Don't even know what he said, but he right.
Cooking. There's a reason this domesticated bear is used in Russian prisons. Imagine packs of ovcharkas roaming the city of Berlin at the expense of anyone unlucky enough to run into them. Well, you don't need imagination. For one of the dogs next, it's a reality.
Kane Corso.
This is honestly the first place my mind went after hearing about the man versus dog debate. You tell him to sit, he looks at you like this. What is your next move? Daikujo decides to climb on your couch where he knows he's not allowed. What is your vehicle of retribution? I pray it's not a rolled up newspaper. He's gonna make you a small section of the next one. Latin is like a linguistic black light that tells the full story of a word, and when you shine it on Kane Corso, canis is dog, and corso or cohors refers to guard, specifically a military guard dog. Corsos, or actually corsi, are kind of the guard dog, and they're descended from ancient Roman war dogs known as Canis pugnax. For corsi, the Italian mastiff would attack enemy lines in battle with buckets of flaming, scalding hot oil strapped to their backs. Fun fact, in my culture, cani is the name of a spice you put on dishes, and to me it's all good, but to someone who's never had it before or doesn't know how to handle it, it can be an overseasoned assault on the senses. Same story with the uber black of dogs. Handle them wrong and they're a one-way trip straight to Valhalla. Jesus. And with many over 120 pounds, I do believe every conscious breath you take is with their consent. Again, they're guard dogs that protect their pack, and within it, they're docile family dogs that you can trust with the kids. But the same dog that can tear a wild boar in half like a phone book would absolutely turn you into coffin fodder in a fight. This might be the most underrated dog out here. First time I saw one, I genuinely thought it was a customized cane. And while they look similar, at up to and often over 140 pounds,
I would've thought that was a pit bull, boy.
Somehow tankier than the canine Italian stallion. Don't get it twisted. The Spanish Mastiff off the
bro, I thought these were like just big ass pit bulls, bro. This shit dead ass shaped like pit bull. If not pit bull, then why pit bull shaped? That's what they be mixing this motherfucker with. They be mixing pit bull with this motherfucker.
Canary Islands is 404ing most men. They just might have been brought over by Spanish conquistadors, and they were admired for their intelligence, toughness, and like a fitted sheet they won't fold. But they were also bred specifically to exterminate wild or stray dogs. And that's something I'm gonna touch on later, because LGDs like ovcharkas, they're not meant to murk predators. Just discourage them. They bred the Presa Canario to erase other dogs. That's basically a canine assassin. The hired gun was also a reoccurring character in dogfighting rings, even after it was criminalized. Because of this, the pride of the Canary Islands almost went extinct in the 60s. Luckily, a breed society, Club Español de Presa Canario, was formed, and they came up with a breed standard. The standard was approved in '89, and the Presa Canario was recognized as the official dog of the Canary Islands. The goal was to help the Presa make a comeback, and today they're still going strong. They have a lifespan that can last over a decade, despite all the nerfs that come with being a big dog. Which means we're talking about the dog that has fought its own kind, its own biology, and literal extinction. Not the type I want to start problems with. Now let the record show that the muscle of canary is the equivalent of a canine wet wipe around family, but any burglars getting blacklisted from the census.
Now this motherfucker, this is lion, this is lion dog. This motherfucker right here, I swear to God, I'm good off of. It's literally a lion dog bear.
Once upon a time, a zoo in China caught heat for trying to pass off a dog as an African lion. Oh, it didn't last long and they were for sure wrong, but when you squint at a Tibetan Mastiff, you see the inspiration.
Yep.
This woolly mammoth is one of the oldest dog breeds alive, and they were used to protect Buddhist monasteries and Tibetan monks from apex threats like wolves, bears, and snow leopards.
Look at got that motherfucking bear moonwalking. Oh no!
Monasteries and Tibetan monks from apex threats like wolves, bears, and snow leopards.
They is not fucking going.
Traditionally, the hound of the Himalayas would sleep all day and patrol the villages at night. So if you take in a Tibetan Mastiff, you may find their habits nocturnal. They're built different. I'm talking genetically sequenced abnormally. Back in the day, Tibetan Mastiffs were bred with Tibetan wolves because the dogs have a special protein that helps red blood cells carry oxygen 50% more efficiently. This mutation does not appear in other dogs, but you do see it in the Tibetan subspecies of gray wolf, which is why the sentient hair salon pile can survive such a high altitude. It's not hard to see how a full-grown literal Clifford can send wolves running. And that's what I wanted to mention. These are guardian dogs, not attack dogs. They don't want you dead, necessarily. Just gone. They're not out here looking for smoke, and if you have one, you'll find that the most dangerous thing about them is the constant slaughtering can be a slip hazard. But there's a catch. The Tibetan Mastiff wasn't just insurance, they were a status symbol, especially in China. One named Big Splash sold for $1.5 million, so they can ruin you physically and financially. The problem is
1.5 mil for one of those motherfuckers?
Like all fads, the TM hype faded fast, and the outcome was more abandoned Mastiffs than anyone knew what to do with. Except the dogs. The Tibetan persuasion started forming feral packs where they've killed livestock, hunted native Baral sheep, and even attacked ancient enemies like snow leopards, bears, and now even humans. Now we've got thousands of feral Uber dogs roaming the Tibetan plateau, making life air-conditioned hell for snow leopards and putting paws and jaws in any people that happen to cross their paths. It's basically what happened to pigeons in America, but I've never seen a pigeon lil bro a wolf. I don't know what's with all the videos of Tibetan Mastiffs and wolves in the same place, but I have not seen one where the dog doesn't completely bully the albeit smaller Asian wolves. And speaking of wolves, at least the wild ones are afraid of humans. We genetically engineered a weapon of mass destruction. And it's completely our fault. Mastiffs in general are a canine flex. They'll have you mad stiff. As in rigor mortis, the bull mastiff looks like a sweetheart.
Chad, this is what Sterling is mixed with. He's pit bull mastiff mix. This is what Sterling is mixed with.
That could genuinely bench press your family. The Neapolitan Mastiff was literally built on honey badger principles. Loose skin so that even when clamped, they can always turn around and face their problems. But it also makes them look like a victimized pizza pie, cheese sliding right off. But we can't forget the English Mastiff, one of the few dogs that could successfully maul a wolf. For reference, the beast from Sandlot was an English Mastiff, and the record for the heaviest dog is held by Ika Mazorba, an English Stiffy weighing 343 pounds. And of course, we can't forget my favorite Mastiff, and honestly dog, the Rottweiler. This Rizzohund is
I did not know the Rottweiler was a Mastiff. Those motherfuckers do get big.
Easy attitude adjustment for any man that thinks he can whoop any dog. But one dog you would absolutely get worked by is... The borble is a massive 200-pound vibe check of a pet. They were bred as a South African farm dog to protect the home against threats like leopards and even baboons. Ironically, it's the baboons I'm impressed by. You see, there's a lot of stories about this farmer dog, Aura, as the kids say. There's one story of a borble life-depriving 4 leopards in a row before losing to a 5th. Another story goes like this. The king of Albania gifted Alexander the Great a massive borble, but when Alex tried to get the dog to hunt, the dog seemingly refused, so Mr. Macedon did the sensible thing and murked the dog for insolence. Until the king said the dog wasn't lazy, just bored, and that these dogs were meant to hunt big game. Like elephant big. So apparently they sent a replacement, and this borble won Alexander over after breaking a lion's back and forcing an elephant off a cliff. Do I believe it? Absolutely not, but it helps my narrative if I pretend I do. What is true is the same borble that squares up with big cats and baboons also has the personality of a waiter.
Oh, hell no. Get your big ass off my couch. Bro, look at how he's towering. Oh, hell no. Hell. I swear to God, get your big ass off me.
Blanket, unless you threaten their family, in which case they'll put you in an ashtray. They're basically a guard dog that got promoted and invited out to hunts, which is actually the opposite of The Rhodesian Ridgeback might seem like a token pick, but hear me out. They're the inverse of borbles. They were so good at hunting, they eventually got promoted to guards. With a max weight of like 120 pounds, the Ridgeback is the lightest dog in this video. They get the nod because they were used to hunt lions, along with the usual suspects like wild pigs and baboons. Now I should probably explain, when I say hunt lions, I don't mean these dogs are out here giving Simba the belt to butt. There isn't a dog alive that can beat a lion. No dog exists that can 1v1 a bear, and pretty much all would get folded by a full-grown all-American Northwestern wolf. By hunting, really the Rhodesian Ridgebacks would bay the lions, not straight up attack them, but harass them, applying constant pressure until eventually the hunters showed up. The best way I can explain it is these wolves mobbing a black bear and basically escorting him away from their pups hidden in the grass. Rhodesians more so keep the lion in one place, which is arguably just as impressive. It takes a lot of intelligence to pin a predator 5 times your size, and yeah, Ridgebacks are creepily smart. Ask around, some will even say they're human. And that's a level of intelligence I'm not trying to do.
Damn, that motherfucker is built, boy. Look at the... God damn.
With one thing I do love is a dog that went against literal lions is also mad sensitive. They do not respond well to harshness, and you unironically have to watch how you talk to them because they will take it personally. They're basically gifted teenagers. They're not for the discipline, so you better keep it positive. You know, I almost forgot to mention the Dogo Argentino. A mistake that would have been. Basically, a teenager in the 1920s unlocked free will and decided to create the best possible hunter dog. He took traits like the scent tracking of a pointer, the height of a great... create the best possible...
Boy, I would have been in there like...
hunter dog. He took traits like the scent tracking of a pointer, the height of a Great Dane, the Pyrenean Mastiff's calm temperament, and the boxer's overall athleticism, and crossbred them with the now extinct Cordoba fighting dog. Eventually, he created an Argentinian Mastiff, and to prove its strength, he pitted his dog against a wild boar and a mountain lion, gladiator style. Only the dog made it out. And I wouldn't even believe that if it wasn't for the story of Morocho, the Dogo Argentino, allegedly killing a puma to save his 2 human girls. Allegedly, because I'm not entirely sure it's true. I still can't see one soloing a healthy mountain lion, but the narrative has been set. So W Morocho. They might not be the biggest, but it's an explosive cannonball of a canine athlete that could overwhelm a grown man on the right day. They're tough enough to endure hours of trekking through rough terrain and still have enough juice to wrestle an animal 3 times its size. But if I ever saw this in an alley, my soul would...
Boy, find me something high in the air, bruh. Find me something so hot in the air, bruh.
Would auto-connect to the Wi-Fi in the sky. Now that's real Bluetooth. By now, you probably recognize the pattern. If a dog was bred as a livestock guardian in the mountains, it's likely the last dog you ever want issues with. And that is everything the Central Asian Shepherd dog is. The CAS, or Alibi, is another LGD spawning from Central Asia, and one of the few dogs that could honestly be confused with a polar bear. And while most of the dogs here are a matter of speculation and my personal bias, with the symbol of canine country strength...
That's that dog? Oh yeah, GG's.
...weighing over 200 pounds, a full-grown specimen motivated by malicious intent would dismantle an able-bodied man. And as one of the oldest dogs, humans didn't really do that much.
Nah, that's a demon, bro. There's no peace in this eyes. There's no happy. This is a dog on a mission.
Much to breed them. They're honestly bred more by the harsh environment than anything. Just an overall unit of everything a dog can be, and likely the biggest dog most people have never heard of. Again, this isn't to demonize any breed in particular. I just figured the man versus dog thing gave me an excuse to talk about him, and I don't think I ever did make a dog video, so, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone and stuff. And if you're a man who thinks they can solo everything on this list, you got it. Don't take it too serious, although I haven't made an animal versus animal video in a minute. Now there's an idea. Reminder that I have a book rating animals by how likely they are to murk you, and dogs are on there. Their rating might just surprise you, but that's gonna do it. Drink water, hug your mother, always research the breed before you end up with a bear in your backseat. Acknowledge my shirt, please, and I'ma see y'all.
It is a good shirt. I like that shirt. Hey, talk about the gorilla in 100 Men. You need to. You have to. It's your civil duty to do it, bro. You have to do it, bro.
In the next one.
Oh, I seen this video. He said, what the fuck? Who'd you call?
Surprise.
He said, who'd you call? Oh, call.
Gray! What the fuck are you doing?
I feel like Sterling would do some stupid shit like that. W video though. Shout out Casual. Shout out Casual Geographic, man. W video.